what's up? So dwmblocks has become an incredibly popular status bar for anybody using DWM. So I want to talk about what I have migrated to, which is a status bar slightly better than dwmblocks, and I also want to talk about how you can replicate that functionality on Wayland using DWL, because that is why I have my VNC client pulled up here. I finally figured out this is the way to show you guys Wayland stuff while still recording on my main PC with my main camera set up. I can just open up a VNC client if I want to quickly show you guys something. So I'm I'm very proud of myself for realizing I could just do that. But anyways, I'm going to talk about this status bar on Wayland. I'm going to talk about this status bar, which is dwmblocks-async, which is what I have now migrated all of my scripts to. I say migrated, I made some really quick changes, but nothing too major. They basically just all ported over fine. The clickable functionality is still there, as I had before. I will say though, in terms of my build of DWM, the build that is on my GitHub right now has the status CMD patch properly applied for anybody who wants to use dwmblocks-async. My original upload of my DWM build, if anybody happened to be using that, has my sort of messed up version of the status CMD patch applied since I had done, I don't know, I was messing with it to try to do something. Anyways, the current version there is the version that has the status CMD patch properly applied if you want clickable status bar blocks like so. So use that version if you want to migrate to dwmblocks-async. I should probably tell you why dwmblocks-async is better. It is better because it basically fixes the core issues with DWM blocks, which is that when you have a block that takes longer to update, all of the other blocks start lagging. Because of the way the original DWM blocks here is written, it was prone to doing that. It also had possible, flickering issues when you're scrolling, and now with dwmblocks-async, the scrolling is perfectly smooth. I can scroll through all of my disks here. There's no flickering, there's no lagging from one block taking longer to update, because it is asynchronous, so everything updates simultaneously as needed. So yeah, this is essentially just the better/best rewrite of DWM blocks to date that I have found. So I would definitely recommend migrating over to this if you have experienced, I guess, any issues with DWM blocks at all in the area of, blocks lagging or blocks flickering and such like that. So that is DWM blocks async, which is what I'm now migrated to. Now let's talk about somebar and someblocks, which is what I am using with DWL on Wayland. And I should probably start by mentioning, because I know people will ask, my build of DWL is not anything crazy. I literally have 3 patches applied, and you could probably do that yourself in 5 minutes. So as of right now, it is not really worth me making a video on DWL alone, but I am thinking about how I can make Wayland videos in a way that is not going to have, some kind of blurry VNC client open, just because essentially my laptop does not have a 1080p screen, which means that, literally the video would be blurry. It would be 720p. So yeah, I'm thinking about, what am I going to do here to get a higher quality video on Wayland, without buying a new laptop, I guess. So anyways, I will probably at some point start making videos on Wayland when I come up with a better solution than just having a VNC client open here. But anyways, considering that I have it open, let's talk about it now. So this is somebar, and it is running with someblocks, which is essentially going to give you all of the DWM blocks functionality, except for clickable blocks. You only get one clickable command, and that is actually built into somebar itself. Somebar is essentially just the DWM bar, but on DWL, it's a rewrite of it, but it's basically the same bar. And it does have one singular clickable command, so if you want to, change the clickable command to, open a program or execute whatever command, you can do that. Personally, I haven't been, too stressed about having a clickable status bar on laptop, just because I usually find, I've got a trackpad on laptop, and it's just going to be as fast for me to just open a terminal and type in some quick command than it would be to go over to the right status bar block and click on it to do something. So it makes the most sense for me on laptop to not have clickable blocks. I think there might actually be a patch to allow you to have clickable blocks with someblocks. So essentially what you want to do if you're using DWL is start by installing just somebar, and then also install someblocks. And these basically work the same way as all of the classic Xorg suckless software, where you've got, you know, this piece of software itself, and then you have patches to add in features if you want various other features. Somebar has a few different patches available just for some extra features. I'm not sure if someblocks has any patches yet. The page says it does, but I didn't see any patches in the repo here, so I don't know. If I'm missing where the patches are, let me know. But I didn't really need any patches. It basically just works fine out of the box. You'll notice this blocks.h is essentially the same thing as the classic dwmblocks.h. Actually, if I open up my src dwmblocks config.h here, this is for dwmblocks-async, and you'll notice it does look like slightly different, but obviously the blocks are all defined in the same way, with the update interval and the update process kill signal, as well as the command or the script that's going to run for that particular block. And of course it works the same way on the blocks.h on DWL Wayland here. So DWL Wayland, I don't know what I'm saying. I'm trying to like say a sentence and then I get, you know. Anyways, so yeah, that is basically the same status bar on Wayland. I actually didn't have to change any of my scripts. Like none of these were relying on Xorg specific stuff, so I didn't really have to make any changes at all. It just works. So yeah, if you want the basically exact same status bar on Wayland, without the clickable feature, of course, then yes, this should do it for you. Somebar and someblocks. I will link them in the description if you want to go mess around with them. Anyways, that is status bars. I will see you next time. Peace!